Hey guys, what's up? Scotch Duck here once again. I just beat Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was very good, so yeah. This isn't going to be a review of the game. I kind of want to do that, but there's this other voice in my head that's saying, sleep on it, Duck. You know, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'd be able to, rather than just like rush out and get all my thoughts into just out there immediately. I kind of think, no, sleep on it. See what you think after a couple of days, then do it. You know, let's just do it like that, you know? But, yeah. Despite that, I really just want to talk about Zelda for a wee bit. So, yeah, I'm going to, you've probably read the title, you know, I'm just going to talk about something that I saw on Twitter the other day and really piqued my interest, actually. And that is, which Zelda is the best Zelda? Now, some of you probably misread that title and think I'm going to talk about the games. No, I'm talking about the character, the princess, the wisdom holder lassie thing, you know? The character Zelda, which one is the best, you know? Or at least in my opinion, you know? Yeah, I don't know, it's a really interesting question, I think, because you've got, obviously she's in the title of every game, I should say. And she's always very different every time we see her, or at least most times we see her. So, yeah. I'm not very good at this intro. Let's just jump right into it. Now, for my money, right, there are, I'm gonna say 7 different Princess Zeldas out there, and I'll explain my reasoning for why there's only 7 as we go along. But there is one 8th Zelda that I'm not gonna rank because it's a bit cheating, but at the same time, it is a very, very good Zelda that I really have to mention, otherwise everybody's going to mention it if I don't talk about it. That was Hyrule Warriors Zelda. Now, this was a game that had like pretty much like so many you know, female characters anyway. You didn't just have Zelda, you had Sheik, you had Impa, you had that new chick Lana, amongst loads and loads of other Zelda characters along with it. But yeah, Zelda, and this was very badass, a lot of them were. You know, they had that, and again, it feels like cheating to include her on this list, because she kind of had that, all the characters in the game have that, like, stylistic edge where, because they were just crossed over with the Dynasty Warriors aesthetic. I mean, you see Ganondorf in this game? Ganondorf in this game is so badass, he really is. But yeah, and as is Zelda, as is definitely Zelda. So yeah, just putting it out there because everybody will talk about it. Hyrule Warriors Zelda. Pretty high tier as far as I'm concerned. So, let's get into these main 7 ones from worst to best. Again, just in my opinion. And once again, this one's actually probably a bit cheating, because number 7 on my list is like original Zelda, okay? And what I mean by this is like, this character, in my opinion, spreads across multiple games, because there's really not that much there. I'm pretty much counting original Zelda, Zelda 2 Zelda, even though there's kind of a cool twist with her there, the fact that she's been sleeping for millennia and that. Link to the Past Zelda, she doesn't really do anything. And I guess also Link Between Worlds Zelda as well. There's maybe a bit more there with Link Between Worlds Zelda, but again, she really doesn't do anything, you know? And like, these are the Zeldas that are one-up for like, the games in the series that don't even fucking have Zelda. Most notably Link's Awakening and Majora's Mask. You know, Zelda's in one cutscene in Majora's Mask, but that's it. You know, there's nothing else there for this character. So, yeah, those were the games where I guess they didn't really care about expanding on her or telling her story. She really was just a princess that needed saving and all that bollocks. But, yeah, that's that kind of puts it down low, in my opinion. So yeah, OG Zelda, which is really sad to say because of course it is the first Zelda, but yeah, it's pretty low tier. Are we going to make that a thing for this video? High tier Zelda, low tier Zelda? I guess we are. A tier list, if you will. But yeah. Next up right now for this game, this Zelda only just misses the you know, suffering the same fate as like OG Zelda in terms of not really being relevant, but I think there's just enough there to put her up amongst the ranks a wee bit, and that's Twilight Princess Zelda. By the way, wee mini rant, and this is, I promise it'll be a mini rant. This is the best version of Twilight Princess, I think. The Wii version's really good too, but if you rather not like play with the Wii remote and have a more traditional left-handed Link, I don't know why that annoys me so much, but it kind of does, then definitely play this. And that Wii U version, Twilight Princess HD, who else thought that port was shite? I got like slowdown in all these different places in that version that weren't there at all in the Wii and the GameCube version. I think they fucked that port up. But whatever. But yeah, this Zelda is really not there. I mean, to be fair, Midna really steals the show as in the princess role in this game. You know, Midna is an amazing character, I think. And Zelda's just sort of there to help move the plot along. And so is Ganondorf, as a matter of fact. Ganondorf doesn't really do much in this game either, you know? So yeah, for that reason, I kind of put her this low. The last boss, where you're like riding through the field. Should I bother explaining that there's going to be spoilers in this video? Probably. I'll leave it the Breath of the Wild spoilers. How about that? Okay. Every other game's free though, right? So yeah, the last boss when Zelda was on your back, not on your back, on the back of the horse with you, and she was shooting the arrows at Ganon in Hyrule Field. That was quite cool. I dug that, you know. So for those little reasons, I put her just a little bit above OG Zelda. But yeah, still quite a weak Zelda, I would say. And one up from that, I'll say, is Breath of the Wild Zelda. Now, I guess a lot of people will be getting their own like opinions on this iteration of Zelda, not just the character, but the game itself, in relation to the rest of the series. But having just came off it, I think Zelda in this game, once again, has that like almost benefit of not really being there that much, kind of like Twilight Princess, but you do get a fair few cutscenes with her. Because of the way this game does cutscenes, which I won't talk about, you do get to see her in them, you know? And Zelda in this game's different in a sense that she's a bit of a nerd, really, and she doesn't really like being a princess, she doesn't really like carrying out her duty, but she does because she feels like she has to, but at the same time, she kind of just wants to be a nerd and research different things, you know? Like, I think there was like a line in the game where she'd rather be a scholar, you know? That's how she said it. And, I thought for a minute, that's interesting, because I didn't actually expect to like this Zelda based on what I'd seen, at least not as much as other versions of her. But no, I think by the end of the game, though, she kind of just, at least in my eyes, became more of a, less of an interesting character and more of a princess in the sense that she doesn't really do that much, you know, at least not in a fun way that would attract me to the character, you know. She kind of just, she has quite a few fuck-ups along the way, and she's obviously, but she's kind of like touted as being real important, being the princess, obviously. But yeah, it was, I feel like this Zelda could have been really good as well. They just like, I don't know, they just like they put too many princessy tropes in there. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point, okay? Like I said, I've just beaten this game like fucking half an hour ago, okay? And I really liked it. And I want to do a review on it, but as far as the Zelda character goes, a bit middling in my honest opinion. So yeah, there's that. Next up, we just got 4 left here. Next up, I want to give it to Ocarina of Time Zelda. Now, this character is just so manky. That's probably what happens when you play this game as much as I did when I was younger. Really should have probably picked up the 3DS version there, but whatever, yeah. But Ocarina of Time Zelda, you could probably argue is like not in the game enough, just like Twilight Princess Zelda. But I think one thing about this that really puts her forward is the fact that when you find out that she's Sheik, and Sheik is obviously a much bigger part of this game as well. I actually remember in the like worst kept secret spoiler, I guess, in video games, you know, when Sheik is revealed to actually be Zelda, you know, I was like, I remember being legitimately shocked, you know. I remember the cutscene where it flashes and Zelda's suddenly in front of you. I'm like, where did Sheik go? And then she says, I'm sorry to meet you in disguise. And I was like, oh my god, it was genuine. Obviously everybody knows that Sheik is Zelda now, but I was genuinely shocked, I really was, and it was wonderful. And yeah, obviously, again, you get to see like two different like timelines with Zelda. You get to see her as a child, and then you get to see her as a more mature adult. And there's a few lines in the game that explain how she did sort of grow up as time went on, and she felt like she was aiming a bit too high, trying to fight Ganondorf when she was a kid. And I appreciate stuff like that, you know, it really added to the character, I felt, and when you actually did meet her and, like, do the last battle with her and all that, made it a lot more epic, you know. That's really one thing that should be sort of touted in these games, you know, like, because you always be at the end of the game, and Zelda will sort of be there helping you, I guess, and I think a big part of what makes her memorable and badass is those final moments, really. Because again, Twilight Princess had some good final moments with the fight, for sure, even though she wasn't really in the game that much. Breath of the Wild, not so much, at least I don't think so. Definitely in this one where you're going down the tower with Ganon, that's an amazing moment, I'd say. So yeah, Zelda / Sheik, you know, really good Zelda as far as I'm concerned. And we're into the top 3 here. And my third favourite Zelda is this one right here, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, I guess this also doubles over to the Phantom Hourglass, but that version of Zelda wasn't that good. You know, she just gets turned to stone and... Oh fuck, actually! I probably should have talked about Minish Cap. I forgot about that game, damn it. Minish Cap's probably like somewhere in between original Zelda and Twilight Princess Zelda, because obviously she gets turned to stone as well, which was probably, Phantom Hourglass was probably doing a wee like throwback to Minish Cap, maybe? I don't know. But no, like, yeah, I wouldn't say there's really enough of Zelda and Minish Cap to really separate her, I guess. Okay, I just did that off the top of my head, right? But anyway, Tetra, okay, in this game, who is later revealed to be Zelda, is definitely one of the more fun versions of Zelda. You know, she's obviously a pirate, she's commanding her own ship, she's pretty badass, you know, has some really good moments in the game, and again, when you get to the end of the game, with the final battle with her, I wouldn't say it's like... I remember playing it for the first time and thinking, this doesn't feel as strong as like Ocarina of Time's final battle, you know, where she's like helping you fire the light arrows at Ganon when you're trying to fight him and shit. I wouldn't say, I don't know, that was just me really comparing it to Ocarina at the time, but it is still a really good fight, obviously, and she is a lot better in this game than she is in Ocarina of Time, just because she's like a awesome, spunky pirate, you know, and yeah, that's just a much more fun character, really, you know, to the point that I remember when it was actually revealed that she is a princess, it was almost like, I don't know, she was almost disappointingly chill after that, where she's like forced to stay in the Temple of Time while Link does 2 more dungeons, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So, no, but I really like this Zelda, I do, you know, so, yeah, Wind Waker / Phantom Hourglass Zelda, for sure. And my second favourite Zelda, I think a lot of people were expecting this to be number 1, actually, but for me, the second best Zelda is definitely Skyward Sword Zelda. A lot of people really love this Zelda, and this was like the first game, as far as I'm sure the only game, unless you count like the very end of Zelda 2, where they tried to do a legit love story between Link and Zelda. And I always felt like this game kind of fell apart in the last like 5th, like when you do the final dungeon, and it's up, no, not the final dungeon, when you're going up to the final dungeon, you have to do a lot of shit to get to like that last fight and stuff. I feel like that was always it felt a bit rushed to me, really. But even with that said, again, Zelda is a really fun, cute, interesting character in this game. And you want to know what it's like? My favourite thing about it is in the like first half of this game, where you're basically on Zelda's trail the whole time, and when you're like going through the overworld and stuff, you keep finding these little traces of Zelda and like talking to other characters who just previously like helped her and all that. And I remember playing that for the first time and thinking, I want to play this game. I want to play this game with Zelda, with Impa like helping her and that, going through all these dungeons before Link gets there, okay? If this came out in like on a console that Nintendo was comfortable making DLC for and shit, I would have been for that. I would have been for that so much. That would have been so cool, I think. And So yeah, she's really fun in this. Very much. The love story it's alright. You know, it's alright. The ending. I don't know, the end, again, the very last bit of this game always felt so rushed to me. It was a weird sort of feeling. But, like, it was pretty much that bit where you're following Zelda in the first half of the game that I really fell in love with. And that's probably why I rank this Zelda so high, for sure. I'm just looking at the screenshots in the back here, and I'm just like, yeah, I love this Zelda. She's brilliant. So, yeah, Skyward Sword Zelda. But what's my number one? If you've been subscribed to this channel for a while, you're probably sick to death of hearing me talk about this game, and but I don't care. I'm putting this Zelda number one. It's my list, goddammit, and not enough people talk about this list. Not enough people talk about this game, and it always irks me, and that's probably why I wanted to make this video in the first place, just so I can gush about it. Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. This game is so fucking good. Okay, I do not like Phantom Hourglass. I feel like I always have to point this out every time about how I don't like Phantom Hourglass, but this is possibly about my second or third favourite Zelda game of all time. You know, it's that much of a difference to me. But we're not talking about the game itself as much as I would like to, we're talking about the Zelda. Now, the thing about this Zelda is that personality-wise, she's almost like identical to Tetra. Maybe a wee bit more of like tsundere. Is that how you say that? Tsundere? Sundaru? I don't know. The anime character that gets mad all the time. She's a little bit like that. But she also has some really funny moments and stuff, and some really interesting dialogue between other characters and stuff. And the real thing that like sets her apart in this game, and to be fair, it's a bit of an unfair advantage to the other Zeldas, but it's the fact that she is actually the Navi character of this game. She is following you around the entire game, being the voice for both of you. And it's because of that you really like fall in love with her. You know, she is a really fun character, and especially when you have to like go into the central tower. I can't remember the name of it. The Spirit Tower, I think it's called. And she has to possess like the phantoms, you know, the big robot things, and that cutscene where she first finds out she can possess them, and she's a bit uncomfortable with it at the time, and Link sort of giggles at it, and yeah, just things like that. You really grow attached to her as a result. So yeah.
Also the last boss where you have to fight Maladus with Zelda again, and just like Wind Waker, you know, she's helping you out with the light arrows, only this time you get to sort of control her. You actually get to control when she fires the arrows, and that just makes it more involving, and it's like that's the sort of like one-upping from Ocarina of Time that I wanted, that I didn't really get in Wind Waker. Then at the very end of the fight where Link is actually thrusting his sword into Maladus' head, and she just walks round and helps him thrust it into it. That is so epic, that is so cool. I forgot to talk about that in the video, but I really thought I better mention it because I thought it was so cool. So yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, the best Zelda in one of the best Zelda games. I'm sure many of you are going to be upset that I didn't put Skyward Sword Zelda, but so did my list. So yeah, that's that, guys. What do you think? Is that was I right in my ordering? Have I missed a Zelda? Maybe. I don't think I've missed anything. I sort of skimmed over Minish Cap, to be fair. But I think that's really much it. Yeah. Tell me what your favourite Zelda is, why don't you? Let's do that go comment obligatory shit. I don't know. But yeah. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.